All right, YouTubes, you know what time it is. It is time to review some spoilers, and today was probably the most power-packed day we've had thus far. Maybe the most power-packed day we'll have for the entire set, because there was some absolute bombs dropped. Speaking of dropping, maybe I'll have some merch dropping soon. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. If you want like some hoodies or some t-shirts or some stickers, something like that. I gotta get something up, right? Because that's what you do on YouTube, is you sell merch, people need t-shirts. All right, we're moving on. Renata, Call to the Hunt. Big fan of this card. It's at least a 2/3 when it comes into play, and it grows power-wise based on your devotion, and each creature that comes into play after it gets a 1/1 counter. Like, that's pretty nice. She's there greeting them, giving them like a dagger or a sword to have with her. I also like that these creatures, the demigods, have their constellation versions, just like the big gods. Like the big gods are the Big Dipper, and they get to be the Little Dippers of Theros. Like, that's kind of cool. I like it. And then we have Annex, Hardened in the Forge. He's also a star 3 based on your devotion. And then when your non-token creatures die, you get a 1/1 red satyr creature token with this creature can't block, which is fine because we're probably going to be white-red or mono-red with this card. Swinging for the fences. We ain't got time to block. We're just doing damage. Or you get 2 tokens if you had a big creature die. Pretty nice. Caliphate, we already saw her. She's just harder to remove. Hooray. Okay, moving on. Loadalon, obviously the direct translation of that. It's a 1/1 lifelink that you can sacrifice it to protect another enchantment or creature of yours. I'm not big on this card unless there's more lifelink synergies or there's better ways to recur it. I'm TBD on that one. I really like Soul Guide Lantern. At the very worst, it is pay 2, cantrip it, and get rid of your opponent's best escape card in their graveyard. Or if they have multiple escape cards you need to deal with, you play it for 1, you tap it, you sacrifice it, you exile 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard. I'm pretty high on this card. I think you're going to play it in just about every deck, or at the very least be happy to have it in your sideboard because you're going to need to get rid of those absolute bombs your opponent played. Yeah, I'm just big on Soul Guide Lantern. I like the card. Okay, now here's one of the harder pronunciations to try. We're going to go for it. Ichthyomorphosis. Ichthyomorphosis. I'm sure one of you correct me if I didn't get it right. Either way, it's blue pseudo removal. For 2 and a blue, you get to turn target creature into a 0/1 fish. This works on the gods as long as they're creatures when you put it on them. Just make sure your opponent doesn't like remove a permanent and then they're not creatures anymore, and then this falls off and you kind of wasted a card. This is also just a very ugly fish. That is the ugliest. This is probably one of the ugliest artworks we're going to see in the set, and I just mean that from a that looks gross standpoint. Fateful End, probably one of the best removal spells for red we're going to see. For 3 mana, you get to deal 3 damage to any target and scry 1 at instant speed. You're just always a big fan of this card, especially if you're up against people trying to do stuff like enchant things. That's always nice to have instant speed interaction. And then it's big boy time. I mean, look at this. We're going to look at this artwork. This is crazy. Croxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. It's got 2 mouths. One where its mouth should be, and one where its mouth definitely shouldn't be. This thing's got like stars in it because it's so big. I love that it's like gripping the Colosseum. It's got the chains broken off. Its foot is like stepping on you as you're holding the card in your hand. I love the artwork. This card is phenomenal. And in case you glanced over the text of it like I did, when you play them, it's basically a spell. It's not the creature because you have to play it. It ETBs, you have to sacrifice it, and it does its thing, which in this case is each opponent discards a card, then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card loses 3 life. So it bolts them if they don't discard a spell. So either they're losing land, taking damage, or they're losing spells they want to cast. This is a crazy good card. And then when it ETBs, after you've escaped it, now every time it attacks, it also does the same thing. These cards are like absolutely insane. If you don't deal with it, obviously they're going to win them the game, or win you the game. Hopefully you're the one playing it. Well, I'm a big fan of this card. These Titans are ridiculous. Okay, Kiora Bests the Sea God, a mythic rare saga, and this one is also pretty busted, rather pushed. Is that fair to say? For 7 mana, first one you get an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token. Also has hexproof, no big deal. Actually, it's a huge deal. Number 2 taps all opponents' non-land permanents, and they don't untap for 1 turn, so now your 8/8 just gets to munch on in there and crush them. And then you get to steal some of theirs if they're still alive somehow, some way. This is just ridiculous. Eat to Extinction. This art's probably the most terrifying to me so far. Like, just makes me uncomfortable to look at. Not a fan. Feeling bad for this dude. Anyway, exiles target creature or planeswalker, so it gets rid of gods, gets rid of anything. And you get to surveil 1. I'm annoyed they don't use the keywords because it would help with a card that I like Dimir Spybug. I get the argument. It's just, I get like why they don't do it to simplify the game and blah, blah, blah. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather you just keep the keyword, keep the synergies there so that they exist outside of their 1 or 2 sets. It just, why are we limiting ourselves? That's what I don't get. Why do we limit ourselves? The game is complex. We're not going to remove the complexity. Let's keep cards better for longer. That's my rant about that. Next up, well, I guess we've already seen Annex and Renata now in opposite order, both looking pretty fierce, ready to do some damage. I mean, these cards are great, especially for limited. These cards are going to be phenomenal. Then we get the most suggestive card that also has the mouse pointer in the artwork. You can play an additional land each turn, kind of a big deal, especially anyone who's played, I don't know, Commander might know. And then lands you control are all basic land types in addition to their other types. So it fixes your mana pretty much no matter what. Like, this card is crazy good. It'll be decent and limited. I mean, it's a 2/4 for 3. It's the enchantment, gives you those synergies, fixes your mana, helps you ramp a little bit, especially if you can get some card draw going. But in constructed, this thing's going to be present. Let's say present or prevalent, probably both. Next up, we have Hydroid's Halitosis, which is obviously the correct translation as well. Puts a 1/1 counter on a creature, and then every upkeep, those counters double. So it gets you onto that. I don't know what just happened with my mouth right there, but it gets you on that Voltron strategy, and there you have it. You turn a horse into a Hydra. Oh, is that what's happening here? Okay, I'm a very quick learner of a student. So you put it on your little horse, and then all of a sudden your horse grows 3 more heads. It's got awesome green artwork stuff going down its legs. Okay. I like it. Then we get this dude playing 2 flutes at once. I'm not even going to click on him. Basically, when he dies, you get a 0/1 goat. Cool. This card of equal power to Euro Titan of Nature's Wrath. This card is, man, look at this artwork again. That is a terrifying look. The chains, because they're breaking out from death, they will not be contained. This one's crazy as well. Okay, you play it for 3 mana, you gain 3 life, you draw a card, and then you may put a land onto the battlefield. That's as good. And then if you can get it into play for 4 mana, every time it attacks, you get to gain life, draw cards, ramp. I mean, these cards are stupid good. Imagine this card with Oko, with Once Upon a Time, and, I don't know, Questing Beast, and Nissa. Like, imagine all of those cards in the same deck in Standard. Seems good. Just a little bit, right? That's crazy to me that you could have all those in the same deck. Or at least someone at some point had to think, yeah, that seems fine. That seems fine. Okay, next up, Thrix the Sudden Storm. I like this dude. He's like, he obviously doesn't skip leg day. He's just working out. He's showing you no matter how old you are, you can still, it's about having good routines, eating a good diet. You can be jacked your entire life, I guess. And you can fly. Okay, for 3 and 2 blue, you get a 4/5 flash. It's flash? How does someone who's 9 feet tall and can bench press a planet flash in out of nowhere? Okay, he's the Sudden Storm. That's all you need to know. All right, that's all. We don't need to explain ourselves. We're here, deal with it. And the thing is, you probably can't deal with it because now we can't counter any of their spells. If they cost 5 or more, they can't be countered. Also, they cost 1 less to cast. That seems pretty nice. And he's a giant, so blue-white is going to be pretty happy about this card because our Realm Cloak Giant doesn't remove this thing. This doesn't let Realm Cloak Giant get countered anymore. They're best buds, here to hang out in Standard, I'm assuming. Archon of Sun's Grace for 2 and 2 white. You get a 3/4 flying lifelinker that also gives these tokens you create every time you cast an enchantment, enchantment ETBs. You get a Pegasus token. Like, this card is bonkers for limited. Absolutely bonkers. And I was thinking, like, this set was feeling good, right? It wasn't feeling like there's anything crazy going on. And then today happened. And we have Titans. We are eating stuff to extinction. We have Cura bests the Sea God and gives us 8/8 hexproof stuff. We have another Titan. We've got this thing. We got, like, I'm hoping that the limited format is not just a bomb-reliant, ridiculous format. But there's going to be someone out there that plays blue-white flyers tempo stuff and has both of these in their deck. And it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be happy for how strong their deck is at a pre-release because these 2 cards are just bombs in and of themselves. All right, we're going to move on. Mantle of the Wolf. I like this card a lot. And it makes sense to be a rare because giving a creature +4/+4 is a big deal. And it's nice that as long as you don't walk into an instant speed removal spell, when it leaves, you still get another 4 power added to the board somehow. To me, that's really good. Like, that's really nice to see a lower risk type enchantment. All right, Whirlwind Denial's up next. For each spell and ability your opponents control, counter it unless its controller pays 4. So this is, I mean, it has amazing flavor text. No, no, and no. This tells Hydroid Krasis to go away. Even though it's in blue, which is like why Hydroid Krasis is kind of a problem. That's hilarious to me. I digress. This card's going to be playable in standard, in limited, in every constructed format. This is one I'm, like, if I was going to spec about what uncommon would be the most expensive out of this set, this is what I put my money on. This card seems really good, and I bet it's going to be beautiful in foil with the little red parts being foiled too. You got these awesome blues. Yeah, I like the artwork. I think it's going to be a great card. Then we have Lamia, I Hardly Know Ya. That's so dumb. All right, it's a 4/4 lifelinker, which is just good for 5 mana, especially in limited. It's the enchantment creature, going good. But when it ETBs, you get to search for a card, put it in your graveyard. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 1 less to cast. If you like Muldrotha in Commander, this is a card for you, and that will definitely be appearing in my Commander best Theros cards for Commander video that will be coming out soon. Once we're done with our pre-release guide, that will be up, you know, ASAP, of course. All right, then we got a handful of other cards. Careless Celebrant, I think, is going to be phenomenal in limited. So it's a 2/1 that when it dies, it deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So it can't go to the face, which is a little sad, but it's awesome as a blocker because it can take out 4 toughness stuff. Or it 2-for-1s your opponent where you attack, they block it. Hopefully you kill whatever they blocked with, and then you get to ping something else and take care of it. Or it just sits on the battlefield. You get to swing in for 2 because they don't want you to, you know, kill a bigger creature or 2-for-1 them. I think this card's going to be pretty good, especially for a 2-drop, which you always need good 2-drops. Awesome. Then we have Eutropia, the Twice Favored. So this is our Constellation kind of signpost card. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until end of turn. This card, paired with Renata, is stupid, because now every creature ETBs from turn 3-4 onwards with 2 1/1 counters, essentially, because I'm assuming you're just trying to jam every enchantment creature you can, but your creatures are coming in bigger and they get flying. That seems pretty decent. And really, your enchantment creatures that come in later on can just pump your biggest thing, give it flying, swing for the, I mean, just, this is a very strong card. Oread of Mountain's Blaze just helps you rummage for cards. Neat. Arena Trickster is showing me that blue-red is probably going to be one of the best archetypes just because there's so much flash and instant speed stuff you can do. And this guy's, you know, 3/3 for 4 is not great, but he will not stay 3/3 for long. And then he's going to be a huge problem. And that's for your opponent to figure out, not for you. Siona, Captain of the Pyleas. Either way, she's our signpost Selesnya color cards. 2/2. That when it ETBs, look at the top 7, find that aura card. You're really just trying to put auras on your creatures, get a wide board, swinging for the win. That's what she's doing. Look, she's brought an army with her. She's ready to fight. I like it. Vexing Gull, hey, here's a flash card for our blue-red deck. 2/2 flyer for 3 with flash. Not bad, especially when there's so much synergy in the set. Shoal Kraken, whenever an enchantment ETBs, you may draw a card if you do discard a card. Nice little rummaging, looting effect, I should say. It's a 3/5 for 5, so not great. The idea is it's just helping you smooth out your draws and keep finding gas like you do, like you need. When you're limited, you're hitting too many lands. This card fixes it for you. Naiad of Hidden Coves, we'll just go with that. 2/3 that makes those cards you're flashing in on your opponent's turn cost less. And it's a 2/3 for 3 that's also an enchantment. Just a really strong card for limited. Perforos's Intervention creates hopefully a game-winning trample haste elemental creature, or it deals a lot of damage to a creature or planeswalker and acts as a removal spell. I wish it exiled whatever you hit, like that would make more sense to me, but it's a cool looking card, if nothing else. And I think we've already gone through all these. So yeah, I mean, this today was crazy. Seeing a couple signpost gold cards, Eutropia, the Twice Favored, is absolutely amazing when paired with Renata. I could see you going like mono green, just kind of splashing some blue for that card, just because there's so many good ways to just build a big board in green right now. It's kind of ridiculous. Euro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Proxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. I really like the Titan feel. I'm excited. Like it. I get that there's a lot of pushed cards. I get that it's kind of crazy to think about what are we doing putting all these insane cards out there, but it's exciting. It's exciting to open up a pack and find a card you're excited to play with and that's strong and you like it. I'm not trying to act like it's easy to design Magic cards or sets and keep them interesting, keep people wanting to buy the product. It's tough. It's definitely tough. And seeing cards like this, I actually really like the mechanic. I think the flavor's awesome. I think all in all, the Titans are just really well executed. So well done, Wizards. What do you guys think is like the strongest archetype so far? Any of these pop up to you and show, hey, I think this is the direction I'm hoping I can go at my pre-release? Or are we thinking that monocolored is going to be pretty legit? Probably more for draft just because you need more access to other cards. But yeah, this set's, it's feeling pretty intense. There's going to be some crazy things going on. All right, but that's it for me. Thank you to my patrons for sponsoring the channel. Thank you to Card Kingdom for sponsoring the channel as well. And look for some merch dropping here soon. I appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy. Peace.